Hello Griffin Scopers, welcome back into the little sound booth, a place where we like to do soul birth card character analysis, getting into the very heart and soul of a person's personality, what they came here to learn in this lifetime. This one was a request and we are looking at Ghislaine Maxwell. So I'm probably going to butcher that name a little bit. I'm just going to refer to her as Maxwell, if that's okay with you guys. So before I get started, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. That really helps me keep the content coming to you. And also, if anybody would like a private reading, then please do contact me. My email address is in the description box. So let's have a look and see what cards Maxwell has. So we have the Lovers and the Devil for the character cards. We've got the Hermit and the Moon for her soul birth cards, and then her year cards are the Magician and the Wheel of Fortune. So let's start with the Lovers and the Devil then. So this set, this pairing, forms a very powerful and revealing character set when applied to Maxwell's life, her character and her personality traits. This pairing share a visual and symbolic connection. They show the same figures in both cards, but in entirely different situations and conditions. So in the Lovers then we get freedom and choice, and in the Devil we get the figures that are in bondage and illusion. So in Maxwell's case, they symbolize a very deep duality between appearing aligned with love and choice, and then the opposite becoming entangled in coercion, secrecy and control. At face value, the Lovers speaks to emotional bonds and a moral choice. In Maxwell's early life, she seemed to embody this card, perhaps on the surface, meaning that she was socially connected, she had friends, she was a daughter of privilege and glamour. She was quite pretty in her younger days. And the Lovers symbolizes key decisions with moral weight. And in her case, this points to the choice to align closely with Epstein. So the Lovers, when in reverse, speaks of a lack of discernment, a rubbish choice, and the Devil shows how freedom turned into bondage, how the Lover's choice became the Devil's chains, right there. And the Lovers and the Devil are two sides of the same story. So this is like love that's corrupted, freedom distorted, and choices that are leading into entrapment. Maxwell's life appears to move from free will and intimacy in the Lovers into the shadow world of secrecy, control and moral downfall in the Devil. And these cards suggest a character that became complicit. It was like a mask of charm and darkness, and her lessons may be about actually learning the true nature of what love is, and the power and responsibility as well that goes with making moral choices, and how choosing wisely keeps you free, not just from literal imprisonment, which is what she is, but from the Devil's chains of illusion, denial and seduction. By the way, guys, this is all for entertainment purposes only and allegedly. So Maxwell's character traits, I feel, are quite chameleon-like, and they're kind of shaped as well. Her personality traits are by whomever she attaches herself to. So her alignment with Epstein, perhaps seeking emotional validation, but leading to that codependency that was there. Masked as a partnership, but also kind of she was merging with his will, and her own suppression as well of conscience. So she may have enslaved herself to the very system that she perpetuated. And we can see that M for Maxwell in the devil's horns there as well. So Maxwell's early life may well have mirrored the Garden of Eden. Highly educated, welcomed into elite circles, surrounded by privilege, but the lovers represents that moral crossroads. And her decision to align with Epstein emotionally and operationally can be seen as the pivotal choice, the rubbish choice that was made in that moment. And it's like that metaphorical, isn't it? That bite of the apple of the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden. Her story does reflect, I feel, the fall from Eden, and her soul's lesson is, I feel, in the space between these cards. The moment of that choice and the power and the self-deception within her. So Maxwell's soul birth cards then are the Moon and the Hermit. And the Moon card is all about illusions, secrecy, cycles, lies, and her life kind of mirrors the moon's cycles, the waxing moon, the rising in her privilege and different relationships that she had when she was growing, and kind of peaking in her influence, but while hiding dark truths. The full moon, then the unraveling and exposure and the isolation as well contained in the waning moon. So her journey reflects a fall from illusion and toward a reckoning that could lead to some self-awareness, maybe, if she faces her own shadow. I'm quite interested as well because, you know, her incarceration is kind of pictured in this cage here. And, you know, it's important for her soul's path because it's like a karmic invitation, if you will, to retreat and reflect and confront truth in the solitude of the hermit. So her soul's evolution depends on whether she can use the isolation of the hermit's energy and the prison time as an opportunity for inner illumination. Deep introspection and accountability is what's needed to bring her to this space of enlightenment if she's able to reach it. So it's like a kind of a forced turning point, I feel, where she's at in her confinement. There is potential to illuminate an inner awakening. You know, we see the hermit's lantern there, an awakening of truth, of what she did in her past and her motivations. But there's no shortcuts here to rise and ascend the mountain. No shortcuts, no distractions, just a very slow and painful path toward that self-realization. So imagine that hermit's lantern needs to be like a reflection of her mind, lighting up with some inner illumination of what's gone before. And only she can choose whether she embraces that hermit's lantern or whether she continues to walk in darkness and illusion. This is the very essence of her hermit's soul's journey. So Maxwell is in a Wheel of Fortune year and a Magician year as well. So imagine with the Wheel of Fortune, a bit like, you know, she's thrown a stone into a pool of water and the ripples are just, you know, peeling out, and it's where kind of like long-standing actions and consequences begin to surface. The wheel doesn't punish, it just kind of reveals what's been set in motion, like those ripples in the water. So her imprisonment and legal trials and public downfall reflect that wheel in motion. We can't stay at the peak, you know, it happens to everyone. The wheel turns and things change. And there's like a reversal of fortune, the pulling from the top of societal privilege into exposure and fate-driven consequence. So this year invites her to see the larger patterns of her life, the ripples in the water, how they were caused and how those past choices brought her to this point where the wheel is, you know, on the downward. And the energy, the wheel may throw her into a little bit of a crisis, but the Magician energy, she still has a choice for redemption and growth, or perhaps falling back into illusion. So this year stands between fate and free will, and that's where, you know, her true power lies, not in external influence, but by using the inner tools of the soul, if she still has a soul, to to actually, you know, begin again, begin a completely new life cycle where she sees herself in a completely different way, where she takes accountability for the consequences of what she did. So what will you do, Maxwell, with this moment, or in this year of reckoning? Will you use those tools, or will you just go around the cycle again? So what we're going to do is we're going to pull some charms. No pendulum today, guys. This is a very heavy energy to be working with, so I've got 2 today. And we'll do some What's the Vibe cards. Okay, anything we need to know, please show us the vibe around Maxwell. Anything we need to know? Ooh! Wow, interesting. So we've got a faller and it says karmics, and I was saying that she's in a karmic year with that Wheel of Fortune on the down low there. So karmics, third parties, haters, and lesson learned. Interesting. And then with the we've got the tarot dice there, and we've got the Three of Swords. So that's a energy of deep, deep emotional pain. You know, it cuts right to the very core. Very, very difficult emotional space to be in is the Three of Swords. And we've got a male symbol as well. We had this one the other day, didn't we? So the male symbol with the dolphin in it, and dolphins are, they can be sexual predators. They can be very aggressive when they go after the females. Interesting, interesting. Okay, guys, make of that what you will. Drop your comments in the box below, and I will see you on the next. You fly well, my friends. Bye for now.